The Beach House recently dropped on Shudder, and I went into the film relatively blind, and I'm incredibly happy that I did so because this is a cool little indie flick. Written and directed by Jeffrey A. Brown, and starring Liana Liberato and Noah Gros. The film follows two college sweethearts whose relationship is a bit on the rocks. Randall and Emily decide to go and have a getaway over at Randall's dad's beach house, where they befriend Mitch and Jane, an older couple who are friends of Randall's father. At first, everything seems fine, just overly quiet, but as the story progresses, the environment around them starts to change, and a mysterious fog starts to roll in along the beach. The Lovecraftian influence is all over this film, and there is some genuinely gnarly body horror, which was impressive because of the fact that it is such a small indie film. There were a few scenes that genuinely made me wince. The combination of solid practical effects and really good acting sold these scenes. Adding on top of that some really well done cinematography and moody lighting leads to a well-constructed film. For his first feature film, I'm really impressed with Jeffrey A. Brown's direction, and the way that it's shot makes it feel like a larger production. And I'm sure Jeffrey A. Brown's experience in location management definitely played a part in this film, because the setting for this movie works really well. The beach house feels like a beach house that I've stayed at before, and the area surrounding the beach house has this familiar but also eerie quality to it. The performances all around are very good, but especially Liana Liberato. I felt like she really helped to carry this film. I found her to be very convincing, and it was cool to see Jake Weber in this film. For horror fans, you'll recognize him from the Dawn of the Dead remake. I felt the film was really well paced. Others may feel that the film takes a little bit to get going, and it does kind of have a slow burn to it. I personally like that aspect because we get to know our characters, and there are some little hints early on to let you know that something is kind of off. I also got a bit of a color out of space vibe to it, but it's not nearly as off the wall as that film is. This is definitely a much more subdued movie, even with the Lovecraftian inspired storyline and body horror. I did feel, however, that Emily and Randall didn't have a ton of chemistry, but at the same time I feel like it worked for the storyline because they're on different paths. Emily's very focused on getting into grad school, whereas Randall is kind of trying to figure out his place in the world. I would have liked to have seen a bit more of the whacked out creatures, but I'm sure due to budgetary constraints, this wasn't totally possible. And I can only imagine what Jeffrey A. Brown would be able to do with a larger budget. From beginning to end, I really enjoyed The Beach House, and I was pleasantly surprised at how good this film is, which is why I'm going to give it an add to the collection. If you have Shudder, definitely give this film a watch. This is such a cool little indie flick, and it's also a great way to show your support for indie filmmakers. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to support the channel even more, check out my Patreon page. There's a link down in the description below. Thank you so much for coming by, and I'll see you guys in the next video.